Should I throw it again? After what happened last time? No, thank you. Hey, hello. Welcome back to Library Macabre. My name is Cameron Chaney. I'm the author of the Autumn Crow books, and we are here to talk about more Vinegar Syndrome today. After the response to my last Vinegar Syndrome unboxing, watching, reviewing video, I decided we're gonna keep going. We're gonna unbox another one. This is my next Vinegar Syndrome subscriber package, which I remember has some really good stuff. I mean, some movies I've been excited to watch for a long time, and not only that, but movies that I've heard really good feedback about.
I'm ready for my close-up!
There's also some really fun partner titles in this. So if you are unfamiliar with Vinegar Syndrome, I'm just gonna link the previous video down below. I give the deets about Vinegar Syndrome in that video. Ooh, that's a nice sound. A beautiful box of cinema. And by cinema, I mean complete and utter garbage. I like garbage, so that's a compliment coming from me. Now, this is my subscriber box for February, so I am a bit behind on this. It's been killing me to leave this unbox all this time, but it's been very, very busy lately. I've been making a lot of videos. I've been active again on this channel after a few years of being very sporadic with my uploads. It feels good, guys. It feels really good to be back in front of the camera regularly again and making regular videos. It's really been a long time since I've kept up with this format. Jesus, this is harder to open than they normally are. Bakterion. This is the first title we have from the subscriber releases. This is also known as Panic. Look at that awesome artwork. I am really happy with how the slipcover looks on this. And now, for the moment of truth, let's see if there is alternate artwork on the back. If you saw last month's video, you will know that I had some big time complaints about the reversible cover art on these and how many of them were lacking either the original VHS or theatrical poster art. They were just the art that you see here on the front or the back. So here we have the art on the front, but let's see if it's the original artwork on the back side. Hell yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. I've never seen this movie, but I hear it is insane. This is an Italian and Spanish co-production, so you know it's going to be extra crazy. It says here that it's a good old-fashioned monster on the loose romp. Sounds like a blast to me. And not only that, but it's in 4K. So let's go watch Bakterion, aka Panic, and see if it's really as good as the artwork on the cover makes it seem. Am I free of lint this time around? Jesus. All right, so we are here in the Retro Den. Welcome. First video in the Retro Den. How exciting. Now, it's not done. This corner is mostly done. This is my Vinegar Syndrome shelf here. We've got Michael Myers, who kind of follows me wherever I go. We've got some Terror Vision and all of my Full Moon movies. Full Moon is one of my all-time favorite companies. I've made a video about Full Moon, so you can go and check that out. And I'm working on the rest of the room. I actually have an entire wall full of movies. And the movies are on the wall. They're just not really totally sorted just yet. There's a lot of toys to be put away. I said that in my last Cult Movie Macabre. I said that I have a lot of toys to put away, and by toys I mean vintage toys that I grew up with, action figures, things like that. I know a lot of people say do not call action figures toys. They're not toys. I don't have anything against toys, so I refer to them as toys a lot because nothing against collecting toys. Anyway, we are here in the Retro Den to talk about some movies. Bakterion, aka Panic. It involves a laboratory who is trying to invent some kind of vaccine, and of course it ends up turning people into zombies and stuff. It's kind of a zombie movie, kind of an infection movie. It's very low budget though, so it's like low scale. This is not like a global outbreak. It's more like a person gets infected and starts attacking people in the town. It's a bit of a simple movie, kind of a slasher, I guess. It's definitely schlocky and trashy. Like, you open up with a couple getting jiggy with it in a car, and then the monster attacks and like pulls the boyfriend through the window. That was a lot of fun, probably one of the best scenes in the movie. And unfortunately, it's like within the first 15 minutes. But you do have a scene later on where the main creature here ends up attacking some people in a movie theater. You've also got this actor here. I forget what his name is. I've seen him in other movies before. He kind of looks like a young Jack Nicholson. In fact, at first I thought maybe he was Jack Nicholson. This is a very by the numbers Italian horror film. It's definitely not as crazy as some of the Italian horror films that I like to watch. Like, I wish this had gone a little more bonkers, but it's still a fun time. It's a nice one to put on like in the background while you're doing stuff. It's not really anything that's going to be super exciting. It does have good scenes though, so if you're cleaning your house, put it on. Every once in a while you can stop and look at the TV and say, oh, that was cool, and then move on. It's a nice trashy little horror film. Like, I wouldn't necessarily suggest that you go and buy it unless you're really into this kind of stuff and you want this for your collection. Then I would say get it. It's a really good 4K. It's like a film print is being projected onto your TV. It's beautiful. So let's fill the boot. I would say this is up to the ankle, maybe a little past the ankle. It's nothing that stands out. I probably won't remember this movie a week from now, but I'm still glad I watched it. I did have a good time with it, and that's all that really matters. Booyah! We've got Demonwarp. Oh man, this was a big one. This was the big news of February's releases. Everybody was saying this movie is a gem and a must watch. So it's got me very, very pumped to watch it. I've never seen this movie before. I'm grateful to Vinegar Syndrome for giving me the opportunity to see this movie in 4K. I hear it's a very effects heavy movie with a lot of like cool creature effects and gore effects. So it's gonna translate really well to 4K. Let's take a look at the inside. So we've got that newly commissioned artwork there. Let's see if we've got some reversible art. Oh yeah, look at that, baby. That's great. That looks like a mix between horror and kind of sword and sorcery. It says it's based on an original story by John Carl Buechler, prolific special effects artist and director of Troll and Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. Okay, for one, Troll, love that movie. Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood is one of my favorite Friday the 13th sequels. I know what you're thinking. It's not a good movie. I disagree. I think it's great. I think if there is a 7th movie in a slasher series, that it should have telekinesis. It says here that Demonwarp is a delirious late 80s creature feature which throws in everything and the kitchen sink, from hulking Sasquatches, ghoulish zombies, bloody sacrifices, and monstrous alien overlords. It sounds like a blast. Basically everything I want from a movie. So let's check it out. This is Demonwarp. This movie is from 1988. It is directed by John Carl Buechler, who I did not recognize at first, at least not his name, but when I watched the special features, I recognized him from other documentaries. He is a very well-known movie effects artist. He's done a lot of wonderful horror films, and he has directed quite a few other than this one. Yes, he is the director of the original Troll and Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, but he has done a lot of other notable films as well. Anyway, this is one weird, crazy little movie. It starts off with this priest character who's walking through the countryside. He ends up seeing this spaceship fall from the sky. Then we cut to, and I'm trying to figure out who that actor is, George Kennedy, who's been in a lot of horror films. He did Uninvited, aka Killer Cat. It's one of my favorites. Oh my god, I love that movie so much. If you've never seen Uninvited, you have to go watch it. Anyway, he's an Academy Award winning actor. He's done really great work. He was in Cool Hand Luke, but he's done a lot of schlocky horror films like this, and a lot of them are actually standout movies, and he gives it his all in this movie too. He's not half-assing it at all. He is at a cabin with his daughter. They're playing a board game on the floor. All of a sudden, a Sasquatch breaks into the house, knocks him out, totally annihilates his daughter, and drags her body off. So now he's trying to track down the Sasquatch and get his revenge. Now there's this other group of young people who come to the same cabin, and they see the destruction, and they come across his character. He tries to warn them that there's this monster in the woods. Now they're kind of trapped in the middle of this along with George Kennedy's character. But it's not just that. At first it seems like it's just a Sasquatch movie, and a very good, fun Sasquatch movie at that, but it's not just that, because like I said at the beginning of the movie, we saw freaking spaceship fall from the sky. What is that? Where did that come from? Well, it does come into play later on. That's when you get aliens and you get satanic rituals. I don't know why. It was the 80s, I guess. They needed a satanic ritual in there somewhere. You've got zombies. It's just a weird mashup of all of these different horror tropes, and somehow it works. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say this is a good movie. There's a reason why it's not been released in a nice edition until now. It's not great. In fact, I'm gonna just say this now. None of these movies are good. Okay, this isn't that kind of video. We're not talking about good cinema here. It's cult cinema. I think very rarely in this series am I going to be discussing a movie that's very well received and respectable and classic. I do like those kinds of movies, but they're not as fun to talk about. I like trash. Okay, I like garbage. This is not the most garbage thing I'm going to be talking about in this video. Oh no, that's to come later on. This is probably the second highest budget movie that I'm going to be talking about here. Everything else is very, very low budget. And while this probably did have a very low budget, it actually feels much higher budget. The effects are pretty good until the end of the movie when we've got our zombies, which are literally just guys shambling around in Halloween masks.
That there, look. This is a mask. That's literally just the butt crack of a mask.
They're literally cheap Halloween masks from the local 5 and Dime. I don't know what happened there. Maybe they ran out of money because they spent so much money on the Sasquatch, which looks really good. There's also a really fun monster at the end of the movie, which looks pretty nice. He's pictured here on the back cover as well. Oh man, I had a blast with this movie, but I will say there was a point toward the middle of the film when the characters are trying to survive in the wilderness that I found myself kind of losing attention a bit. My mind started to wander. It's a bit slow in that part of the movie. I would say the first half of the film and the last half of the film is where it really shines and is quite fun. It's also a Vidmark movie, which I didn't know. Vidmark is awesome. I grew up watching Vidmark. They released so many great movies, and this is one of those. So it definitely feels like a Vidmark movie. They released movies that were kind of high quality when you first glance at them, and then the more you watch, the more you realize they're very low budget. It's kind of like Full Moon in that way, where they're actually really well done productions. They've got a lot of talented people working on these films, but they're working with a very limited budget. And I think that's magic. That is just absolute utter magic when a group of talented people can take a very small amount of money and stretch it. And sometimes they can make it better than a big budget movie. Like this has so much more charm and charisma than a lot of the bigger budget horror films of the 80s. Yes, you can see the strings and the cheap rubber of the masks, but it's fun stuff and it's charming, and you just know that with a bigger budget, these people could do some amazing, incredible work. So where does this fall within the Vinegar Boot? I would say when it comes to a movie like Vinegar Syndrome, it's half full. The boot is half full, guys. That's a pretty high rating, but maybe, I don't know, give it a watch first. Go on Tubi or Amazon Prime or wherever it's streaming, try to find a copy of it digitally, watch it, see what you think, then buy it if you really dig it. But if you like independent cinema and you like gory, schlocky horror films, this is pretty good. I was trying to remember what it was called. Body of Evidence. That's what it's called. This stars Madonna and Willem Dafoe, guys. This is, I was gonna say, maybe more prestigious. It's not. This is an erotic thriller from the 90s, so it's a little different from everything else I've been showing to you lately. This is actually a really nice deluxe set here. So you've got this hard box, nice and thick, very high quality. You've got the movie here, which also comes with its own slipcover. The movie is in 4K. Oh, real quick, I need to show you, this does come with a really good booklet here with essays about the movie, some production stills, yada yada. Vinegar Syndrome actually does really nice books with their releases. Okay, we're gonna see if the reversible artwork is unique or if it's just gonna be this or this. I have a feeling it might be. Yep, what did I say? There it is. It's just the same, which I honestly, I think that might be the original theatrical poster or VHS art, so I'm not mad. So we've got Body of Evidence here. It is released at the height of the 1990s erotic thriller boom, and this does actually feature both the unrated director's cut and the R-rated theatrical cut. So you've got both. I think for a movie like this, you kind of need to see the unrated director's cut. Body of Evidence puts the "yee" in erotic thriller. So this is a 90s erotic thriller. It's from the peak of erotic thrillers. And you got Madonna, who is playing a dominatrix. She is kind of gaining a reputation for shacking up with men who have a lot of money, but also have heart problems. And then one of those men that she shacks up with ends up dying, and she is blamed for it. She ends up being dragged to court. She is very firm in that she is not guilty, that she loved this man, and the fact that he had heart issues and a lot of money and died, like her last partner, is totally just a coincidence. So the whole movie is kind of a courtroom movie. So then you've got Willem Dafoe, who is brought in to be her lawyer, and she's Madonna, and she's a dominatrix, and he ends up having some relations with her. I'm sorry if there's any Madonna fans out here, but if you've watched this movie, there's just so much Madonna. You know, I was saying these movies are not good. This movie would be good if you really want to see Madonna's yabos. Then this movie is probably really good for you. There's a lot of Madonna, and there's a lot of just like saliva, like Madonna saliva. There's like a scene where she and Willem Dafoe are like starting to hook up, and she's pouring wax, candle wax on him. And yes, that looks really painful to me personally. Like, no thank you. But what's really gross is that she like starts licking it off of him, like off of his chest. And there's a shot where she's got like saliva on her lips, and then like little pieces of candle wax like coating her lips. Oh, so gross. But then you've got Julianne Moore, who comes in, and she has very few scenes, and she just steals the movie. She is there to say, no, I'm the actress here, and don't you forget it. Whereas Madonna is just so much, Julianne Moore is just reserved, and she knows how much to give. There's a wonderful scene of her and Willem Dafoe having an argument outside of her workplace.
What did you do to you, Greg? How did you get those marks on your chest? What are they? What are they? Bites? What happened to your back? I thought we were happy.
She just kills it in just a couple of minutes. She steals the entire movie, and it just shows like how talented Julianne Moore is. Anyway, did I like it? What's the boot rating of a movie like this? So I feel like I have to go on another little side quest here. Okay, so I have, of course, my boot rating system, the Vinegar boot, but I also kind of think of movies as being in 4 different categories when it comes to good and bad. You've got your good movies. You've got movies like The Exorcist, Jaws. These are very well-respected movies. They've won awards. They're classics for a reason. And then you've got your other good movies, which are good popcorn flicks, for instance. Maybe they're not getting any awards anytime soon, but they are what they are. They're there for your entertainment. But then you've got the other category, which is the bad. You have the so bad it's good, which I would say maybe a movie like Night of the Demons, where on the surface, it's a bad film. A lot of people will say, ugh, terrible acting. It's so trashy. It makes no sense. The plot's all over the place. There's no substance. But it is a well-made movie. It does have great effects. It's got a wonderful pace that never lets up. It's got humor. It's got horror. And the acting, while you could construe it as being bad, these are actors who knew what kind of movie they were in, okay? They were hamming it up. They were giving the audiences what they want. This is a low-budget popcorn flick that, yes, to most people might be bad, but it's just kind of good. But then you also have just plain bad. And when I consider a bad movie is a movie that's boring, where nothing happens. It doesn't even matter if it's got a budget or not. If it's boring and the acting is bad in a way that doesn't kind of make me laugh or laughs along with me, then it's just cringy, and I shouldn't be cringing when I watch a movie. So that's kind of my rating system when it comes to trying to decide, is a movie good or bad? It's not quite that simple. There's some gray areas there. And Body of Evidence, I would say, falls almost in the second to last category of so bad it's good. It kind of pushes into that category where it's just a good popcorn flick, but there are moments that push it way down to the bottom. Even though it is a super trashy movie and I was kind of repulsed by it a lot of the times, it's kind of the best movie of the whole package. So I don't know. Yes, it's a courtroom movie, and maybe sometimes those can be a little bit redundant or boring. This isn't. There's not a dull moment in this whole movie, and I'm filling the boot up to the knee. There you go. It's another knee flick. I know. This is getting insane. I liked it. It's got a good style. It's got that high budget gloss. Just make sure you're not watching it with your kids in the room. So those were all 3 of the subscriber titles, but we do have 3 more titles here that are all partner releases. The one that I am most excited to watch is this one here. It is called Dead of Night, the complete series. So this is actually a TV series on Blu-ray. This is released by VH Shitfest, which is a great line, I have to say. They put out a lot of shot-on-video horror films, and I believe this is their first TV series that they've released. Shot-on-video films are a bit of an acquired taste. You have to be into that kind of thing, and I feel like a lot of the people who are into shot-on-video horror films are people who maybe made movies like this when we were kids or teenagers, which I definitely did. I've got a ton of movies that I made with a VHS camcorder and a Hi8 video camcorder. So watching stuff like this is just really nostalgic for me, and it just reminds me of making movies like this when I was a kid with my friends and my siblings. So Dead of Night was a cable access TV series from 1994 to 1997. So it did run kind of a long time for an independently produced TV show. It says here, Dead of Night feels like David Lynch directing the X-Files. I read that and immediately I was hooked. But then I saw the still images from the show and a trailer, and I just knew this was everything I could possibly ask for in a TV series. So since this is a television series, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to watch all 12 episodes. I mean, I will, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to watch them all for this video because I've got a lot of movies and stuff to watch in order to get this video up. Oh, nice. This actually does have reversible artwork as well. Look at that. But who knows? Maybe I'll get absolutely hooked and I'll binge the entire series. It's only 12 episodes, so it's not that long. So let's watch Dead of Night.
This music is kind of creeping me out.
Dead of Night, the complete series. I did not watch every episode, but I did actually end up watching more episodes than I thought I would, at least for this video. Eventually, I am going to watch the complete series, obviously, but I wanted to try to get the video done. So I ended up watching, how many episodes? 5, 6 episodes? About half the series. There's 12 episodes on here and an unfinished episode and a lot of special features. So anyway, let's backtrack a little bit and talk about what this show is really about. So you've got these 2 cops who are are they cops? They're kind of like security guards, I guess. They're assigned to look after certain areas either at night or, like, for instance, later on in the show, they are assigned to keep an eye on the traveling carnival that comes to town. So yes, there is a carnival, which I am going to get to that here in a minute. That was my favorite episode. So the first episode, the two meet each other, and it's basically, it all takes place in a car. Like, the two of them are just sitting in a car talking, and you can barely hear what they're saying most of the time.
I also got what it is for you. Keep in contact with me. We're gonna need it throughout the night.
Seriously, get out your subtitles, bitches, because you're gonna need them. It doesn't really capture what the show is going to be. It's a taste, it's a pilot. In fact, the creator of the show, this guy right here, was talking in the special features about how he initially planned this show to be very simple, something that people could put on in the background while they're doing stuff. He described it more as a mood piece, which I would say, yes, the first episode is definitely a mood piece. Nothing happens. There's not really much going on in this episode, and I was like, oh, God. What have I gotten myself into? But I will say the opening credits theme is quite the earworm, I guess. At first, I was kind of unnerved by it. I'm like, ooh, this is spooky. What is this? And then the more you hear it throughout the series, the more it just kind of infects your brain. And I have been thinking about this for days now. This theme song has been stuck in my head. I'll be going throughout my house just going... It has infected me, and it won't get out of my head. The second episode is called Basilisk. It's actually a two-parter, and a lot of the episodes actually are two-parters that kind of function as a single episode. You've got a really good scene at the beginning where a guy is attacked by this basilisk. The creators of the show in the special features talk about what the basilisk was, like what they made it out of, and it was just an Aurora action figure that they had painted, and then the body was like a dryer coil that they had wrapped in bubble wrap, and then they just painted it, and that's what the basilisk is. The basilisk episode actually kind of reminds me of a short film that I made when I was a kid. I would say my short film might actually be better than the episode, which is saying something because it's actually really bad. My movie is called Creature. I used a Jurassic Park hand puppet as the creature. It goes on a rampage and, like, eats me and spits me back out.
It's huge. Run.
And then it chases my siblings around our yard. This is, yeah, backyard filmmaking, guys. But after that initial basilisk attack, you've just got the two of them walking around a building, and that's pretty much it. Part 2 is a little better. You've got a little more action. But when the show really started to grab me was episode 4. That is the carnival episode. So obviously, Carnival had come to town while they were shooting, and they thought, oh, we should film an episode there. That'll be good production value. So they do. They film at the carnival. They end up arresting this guy who says that he was slimed by a monster with a big eyeball.
I don't know, man. I standing by the zipper and this red thing came out and slammed me and goobered on me and did all sorts of weird things to me.
This scene with this guy goes on for so long, and it is absolutely hilarious. It was my favorite part of the whole show.
Things only explaining here. You copy this status? Man, I was gonna say up a carnival trying to have some fun and I got slimed.
I'm already liking this episode so much more than all the other episodes. I mean, just the fact that I can hear what they're saying is a miracle. You could actually hear the actors, which is great. I could hear every word. They clearly went back and, like, dubbed themselves, which just makes it sound even funnier. Starting with this episode, you've got this alien creature named Frank, which is the most Twin Peaks shit I've ever seen.
What are you?
Now you're starting to get a little more plot. You've got this through line that goes through the rest of the series, and you start to finally catch on what this show is. It's bad, guys. It's really bad. And even the creators of the show, like in the special features, talk about it and they're like, oh, it's bad. And one of them was like, I really need to go back and watch episode A, B, C. And the other guy's like, don't, it's really hard to watch. But it's charming. It's really charming. I can only imagine what it must have been like to watch this late at night on TV. Was there anybody out there who actually watched this show live? And what did you think? I could just picture it in my head, some kid popping this on late at night on TV, sitting there watching it and thinking to themselves, what the hell is this? It's amazing that this actually aired on TV at all. It's such a weird show, but it's kind of growing on me. I'm kind of liking it. I don't know. By the time I finish this series, I might be a bit of a Dead of Night fanboy. Who knows? Anyway, the boot, the vinegar boot. Ankle. That might be generous, but it feels like it should be an ankle thing for me. I'm kind of having a good time with it, even though it is objectively bad. It is bad. But I don't know. Dead of Night. This is it. This is what it is, and that's all I can really say about it. So there you go. AGFA. I love AGFA, y'all. This is called Embalmer. It is a release from AGFA. Embalmer is a shot-on-video horror film from 1996. It says it is preserved from the original 1-inch tape master, which is great. You always want something that's preserved from the original master. And if you're not experienced with shot-on-video horror on Blu-ray, you're probably thinking, why would you put a movie that's shot on VHS on a Blu-ray? Like, that's not gonna look very good, right? I mean, the Blu-ray only looks as good as the source. So if the source is in good shape, then the Blu-ray can look pretty good. Basically, the Blu-ray just lets them show this shot on video horror film in a much bigger file, so you don't have as much compression. You're just kind of seeing the original tape master in its purest form. I remember watching the Linnea Quigley horror workout from TerraVision, and that just looked stunning on Blu-ray. It looks like this was originally shot on 16mm, but then it was edited on video, so it's as good as it gets. So let's give Embalmer from 1996 a watch and see what we think. Embalmer. Oh my gosh, what a surprise this movie is. It is originally shot on 16mm, but was edited on tape. The 16mm negative no longer exists, so this is all preserved from the tape masters. There is a disclaimer at the beginning of the movie that says that there are some baked-in artifacts to the tape, and they couldn't really totally get rid of those, but that they did their best. I will say, without that disclaimer, I don't think I even would have noticed those artifacts. They're actually very minimal. The movie looks really good for a shot-on-video film. In fact, I would say this is a really well-made movie, and I wish the 16mm negative still existed, because I think it would actually look great. Unlike Dead of Night, I would say this is a real movie. It's got atmosphere, it's got actors who know what they're doing. Apparently the director, who was just a professor at a film college, he kind of enlisted the help of some of his students to be in this movie. It's amazing to me that these are just students. They sell the horror, they sell the shock, and they sell the heart, because this movie is actually filled with heart. Anyway, this opens with a scene of this this little girl and her mother. They're in their kitchen. This reminds me of like the opening for Under Wraps. And they end up getting attacked by a killer. You don't see their face, so you don't really know who they are. And it's just this expertly orchestrated scene that is so well shot. There's so many cuts. It's so well edited. In fact, the director said that he kind of copied Psycho in a way with the scene, and I can see that, but he also made it his own. It's amazing to me that the director isn't actually a fan of horror films. He says he hates horror films, but this is a really well-made horror film. Anyway, after that, you cut to the main characters who are talking about the legend of, what's his name? Undertaker Zach, who killed his family, his wife and his daughter, which is the scene at the beginning of the movie. The main character is this girl who is a foster child. She's been raised by this really abusive couple for many, many years now, and they've now kicked her out of the house because she just turned 18. She doesn't really have anywhere to go. She doesn't know what she's gonna do, as she ends up getting involved with these other people at her school. They're kind of out on the town. They're having a good time, kind of trying to distract her from what's going on in her life, and they end up in Undertaker Zach's house. And then they get locked in, and it turns out he's like this supposedly ghost figure. He might not be. I won't spoil it. I'll just say he's this kind of spectral figure who ends up killing them off one by one. But the thing is, you actually care about these kids. The main character especially is quite traumatized after everything she's been through, and she becomes friends with one of the other girls in the group who also has had a similar background. There's a really beautiful and kind of heavy scene where the two are talking about what they've been through. Kind of gave me chills a little bit. It was actually very good, and it elevates the movie from being just a shot on video slasher movie. This does have a little something more to it. It's got some heart. It's got some very well orchestrated chase scenes. The kill scenes are really well done too, very well edited. I was super impressed with this, down from the acting to the atmosphere. I just thought it really fired on all cylinders, and it was a great slasher. I loved this. I thought this was great. I'm gonna fill it up all the way to the knee, and you're probably wondering, Cameron, why don't you fill it up any further than that? I don't know. I feel like it's a knee movie. I think that's a pretty high rating. It's like a 3.5 star rating. This is a solid flick to pop on a Saturday night. I thought it was fun, and I will be rewatching it, and I'm curious to check out more work from this director. I'm always so worried about cutting the slipcovers. I feel like these are a lot harder to get off than they were before. Get off of there. And last but most certainly not least, we've got a release from Bleeding Skull. Bleeding Skull is another one of my faves. They've teamed up a lot with AGFA, so they're very similar to AGFA. Anyway, this is actually a set with a bunch of movies from one director. So the director is, oh God, Antoine Pellissier. Guys, I think that's French, and I'm not, it is French. I'm not fluent. And by fluent, I mean I don't know French. So go easy on me, okay? Anyway, this is a set with a bunch of films from one director. There's a ton of them on here. I've got films from 1977 all the way to 2021. There's 586 minutes total on this set. From dream-like slasher to gore-soaked epic, these handcrafted art horrors from France are heavenly discoveries for discerning horror heads. Man, this sounds great, but I'm also a little bit overwhelmed because there are a ton of movies on this, and that's a lot of minutes of movies. So this is another one that I might have to kind of dip into and just get a taste for what's here, maybe watch a couple of the movies, and then visit the other movies at a later time. Very cool though. I'm pumped to watch this. Oh, nice. Look, there's a booklet. And just looking at the images here makes me even more excited to watch these. What a great release. Oh man, look at this artwork. I gotta turn this around. As you can see, they've included two different artworks for the cover, but you can turn it around and you've got artwork for one of the movies here. It's the movie that the set is actually named after. I love that. Look how homemade this looks. That's great. It looks like artwork I would have made for one of my movies when I was a kid. Let's jump into at least a couple of these films, and I will come back here in a minute and let you know what I think. Folies, Meurtrières. Again, I don't speak French, but I'm really trying. So I had to write it down in my notebook here. It translates to murderous rampages, but I think it's commonly known as killing spree in the US, which it's the whole summary of the movie. It's just a killer on a killing spree. And this is the title film I'm talking about, because this does include Antoine Pellissier's other works. Like, this is his entire filmography in a box, which is awesome. But the title movie is what he is most known for. There's that original artwork. That's what the tape would have looked like back in the day. This is underground filmmaking, guys, and that's what you can really expect with a lot of Bleeding Skull titles. This is really, really obscure underground stuff that you might have only been able to get on a bootleg back then. Now you can get it in a nice restored Blu-ray edition. This is not for the masses though. This is really, really obscure. These films are made by a guy who works as a physician during the day at a hospital, and then he's making movies by night because that's just what he likes to do. This is not high budget. This is not budget at all. There's no budget here. These movies really do function as a mood piece. In fact, while I was watching Folies Meurtrières, while I was watching it, I thought it would be great to put on in the background at a Halloween party. There's really no sound. It's kind of a silent movie. All the sound that you have is added in post, and it's mostly just like a soundscape. It's just a bunch of weird, spooky sound effects, and maybe every once in a while you'll have a scream, but there's really no dialogue, maybe just a little bit of dialogue, and it's just something that would really work in the background at a Halloween party for guests to stop and look at the TV and think, what is this? This is not really something that you sit down to just watch necessarily. So the title film here is just a basic slasher. You've got somebody, a masked figure of some kind. Pretty much the entire movie is very slow. Every once in a while you get some really good gore or something, but it's not until the end of the movie where it takes this really interesting twist. I really, really love the ending. I just thought it was really great, but it's a short film. It's like 45, 50 minutes long. Something interesting to watch if you like slashers and you like really, really obscure underground backyard filmmaking. It's a little bit artsy and dreamlike and nightmarish, but don't get me wrong, it's not good. It's bad. I think my favorite is the second movie that's featured on here, which is called, and let me look. Elude en Fear. I don't know, guys. I'm sorry. Big apologies to any of my French viewers out there. But the American title is Chosen One of Hell. This one's my favorite. This one was directly inspired by The Exorcist. In fact, it even mentions The Exorcist, credits The Exorcist in the opening credits. You've got an opening scene where this little girl is being not sacrificed by Satan worshipers. She's being more or less enlisted to Satan to be the Antichrist. I think it's her 20th birthday is when the curse will be fulfilled. This is actually her pictured on the cover. That's an actual scene from the movie. Again, this is very low budget, but it's super weird and artsy, and I kind of loved it. It is a perfect mood piece and a total knockoff of The Exorcist in every conceivable way. You've got this girl who begins to be possessed in her bedroom, and pretty much the entire movie is just one long possession scene, and she starts to like convulse on the bed, and then her mouth starts gushing blood, and then there's like all this green ghoulish makeup on her face, and this priest comes in to try to conduct this exorcism, and something happens that I thought was really cool, and the visuals are amazing, and it just gave me everything I wanted from this set. So for that movie in particular, like, the boot is up to the knee, but again, adjust your expectations here. This is rated really in relation to everything else I saw. This was one of the best things I watched. Now, there's a lot of other movies in this set. I watched a couple of short films. There's nothing there. It was just people in Halloween masks, like, walking around. There's some good visuals, maybe. Again, for the background of a Halloween party, this would really work. But there just wasn't really much going on. There's another film on here. It's a feature-length film. It's actually 2.5 hours, which is way too long. It's another one that's kind of like a satanic panic kind of movie, and it just feels like a really long, drawn-out mood piece, and I ended up turning it off. I just wasn't interested. But really, of everything that I've seen in this set so far, it's what's it called? Chosen One of Hell. That's the best one. I liked it. I would not say this is a recommendation necessarily, unless this is what you like. I'm never gonna sit here and trash a movie, guys, because every movie that's ever been released is someone's favorite movie somewhere. There is a booklet in this where a film critic is talking about the title feature and lists it as one of their favorite movies. It's not mine, but I'm glad for this film critic that they get to see this director's films newly restored on Blu-ray in this beautiful set. And yes, the films have been beautifully restored. They look great. I kind of enjoyed my time with it, and I'm excited to watch the other films that are featured on disc too. So there you go, creeps. That's going to wrap up another episode of Cult Cinema Macabre. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know down below what you thought of these movies, if you're going to check any of them out. And if you've already seen them, let me know what your thoughts are, of course. I would really like to know that I'm not the only person who has seen these movies. So thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you soon in another episode of Library Macabre. Later, creeps.